Hello everyone, Maurice here. Today I'm bringing a meta report for Axie Infinity Origin Season 8. So now it's the early Epic era. So of course, Epic era means Fury and Aggro, yeah, so Rage, all that stuff coming back, and yeah, Bubbles is kind of gone. Alright, so that's really the main story really. Yeah, so Fury Aggro is now the most popular archetype within Challenger. Of course, it is very strong for sure, but there's not just the only thing that's strong, right? So, Feather, Poison, Free Aggro, those are the three that are at the top at the moment. Still, there are other things that could be coming up as well. So, Perch is something to look out for. And then there's another new archetype, which is Eggshell Mavis. So, that is definitely something also to look into. Okay, so first, let's get into the player statistics. And in this case, we actually have like close to 20,000 more new players this week compared to last week. Right, so that's like a huge increase of players, but actually most of them are near the bottom, right, meaning the only below 200 victory stars. And of course, we probably know that there is this daily mission board task kind of thing. And yeah, that's basically I would say the main reason why there's so many people suddenly coming sort of back into Origins, right? And actually, I myself am an Origin player, but I also go and play a bit of XD Classic every day, basically just so that I can fulfill that requirement. So yeah, so just complete the task basically. So that's why I think a lot of players are just playing one game, or at least like win one game just to complete that task. So in terms of the number of people at Tiger is actually, or Tiger above, is actually in a way similar, if not a bit fewer than same time last season. So yeah, I would say in that sense, it's not too big of a change, right? The biggest change is really just at the bottom. Um, okay, so let's actually get into the archetype usage and something to I should note is okay. I should actually just talk about like so. Well, at the time I collected the data, there are three players I think at above 2200, and then another like 68, so about 70 players, uh, above 2100, and then another let's say 200 something players above 20k, and then another 500. So basically, yeah, that's the kind of numbers that you should keep in mind when you look at this figure. Meaning, right, so top three on the top, and then another, maybe about 70 for the second row, and then about top 200 maybe in the third row, and then like top 700 or something, right, at the fourth row. So that's roughly the ranking at the moment. Of course, in terms of Challenger, then there's about 20, more than 2,000 players at Challengers. So that's the rough idea. Right, so if you just look at the top, then you see Feather is actually the most popular at the very top, right? So Feather is doing very well. And also you see Fury, Aggro, and Poison. Of course, there are only three players, different number of matches, of course. Yeah, so if you look at the top 70, for example, right, then you start to see some Perch, Eggshell Mavis actually putting up there, and also Sustain as well. So when I say Sustain, actually in this case, it's not really the typical Sustain, but it's actually a triple turnip team, I think, that's been played on top there as well. And only if you get down to a bit more like top 200-ish, top 100, 200, then you get to see more things like Jinx, like Anemone, like other things like Leafy even, and don't forget like Pure Damage Story Fighter also doing pretty well, and a bit of Sponge as well. Right, so things are starting to come in, top 100, 200-ish. Right, of course, if you go a bit lower, like if you include the top 600 or something, then get to see more. But I would say the main thing to note is the fall of Sando, really. Right, you don't really see that much Sando, and of course like Giant Bubble and all those rare era stuff are slowly getting kicked out, basically. Okay, so let's get into the win rate. So yes, as you can see here, right, Poison and Feather, those are the, I would say, two big ones that are doing pretty well at the top. Free Aggro is also very good, even though, okay, sure, the number is not as high, right? But one thing to note is that there are quite a lot of, like it's the most popular team, right? So like archetype, right? So that means a lot of players, right? There could be mirror matches as well, quite a lot of mirror matches, pulling it closer to 50%. So that's one thing. The other thing would be that, yeah, you can see that actually is over 50% across the board, meaning it is actually climbing. It is a very strong archetype, right, compared to others. So it definitely is still a very strong pick. Okay, so another thing I should mention is Purge. So Purge seems to be actually, at least an optimized version of Purge is actually doing pretty well and still climbing. And maybe Purge is like good at a certain particular meta. Right, maybe if you see a bit more poison or something, right, that has better matchup, which is maybe like more popular at the top or something, then yeah, Purge definitely has a better win rate. But of course, it has also to do with whether it's optimized team versus like not so optimized teams as well. Okay, then the other thing to note is the I can see Sando, Giant Bubble, all of those things are slowly going down. Yeah. So okay, let's actually just get into the matchup, which is I would say the most interesting thing to look at for today. So yeah, huge table of course, and this one is a everything or like everyone in Challenger. Right, so basically all the matches played in Challenger from day 3 to 5. And yeah, of course, this means that most of the data is skewed towards a lower challenger because there's just a lot more players, a lot more matches being played. But still, it should give you a general overview of like what's good against what. So, of course, look at Fury Aggro, right? Basically the top row, and you can see it's good against pretty much everything except two things. So that's why it's good that there's at least certain counter for certain teams. So in this case, the birds, basically the feather and eggshell mavis, like the main counters of Fury Aggro, especially eggshell mavis, which I'll get into a bit later. But yeah, also feather is also doing pretty well against Fury Aggro, and that's why feather is such a good pick at the moment. So you see feather, right? Yeah, I mean like it has quite even win rate, I must say, across the board. There are some bad matchup, but it's because of the current meta, right? Where there's just so much Fury aggro. It's just that's why Feather is just so good, right? It's because of the popularity of the Fury aggro, which it has a good matchup. And the other factor, of course, is that there are bad matchups like Spikes, like Sustain, that kind of thing, but then they don't really like you don't really see them much on top just because yeah, that's just not up there, right? So the power level is just not as high compared to like Fury Aggro. So that's why. Okay, so another thing to look at is definitely Poison. Right, so you can see Poison actually is also doing pretty well, right? The only main thing that's keeping Poison down is Fury Aggro. So yeah, that's why like Poison, like yeah, it's not doing as good as it can be in this meta just because of Fury Aggro. And then the other one is Purge as well. So as Purge can maybe rise up a bit more, then maybe like Poison might just have a harder time. Um, okay, but having said that, also you can see Poison does have pretty good matchup as well, especially against Jinx and Eggshell Mavis. So this is where I get into Eggshell Mavis. Right, it's a new archetype that's just you summon Mavis, right? So and it is very good against Fury Aggro for many reasons. And one is, of course, that the summon itself, the Mavis, just blocks a lot of damage, right? And it's still going pretty fast in terms of, the Mavis itself does do quite a bit of damage as well. Yeah, so it's definitely very good against Fury Aggro, and that's why it is so good in this meta, but it has a very bad matchup against Poison, because Poison doesn't really care too much about the Mavis. You can just kill off the Mavis pretty easily as well with like those reverse heal stuff and things, so it's just not fast enough compared to Poison, and that's why like this is where there's scissor, rock, scissors, paper kind of thing comes in, right? Where Fury Aggro, okay, or rather, okay, Extreme Mavis is good against Fury Aggro, but then Fury Aggro is good against like say things like Poison. Yeah, but then yeah, Poison's not definitely not good against Fury Aggro, but it's good against like Extreme Mavis, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's good in that sense, right? That it's not like one thing that's dominating the meta. Um, okay, so finally, one thing I should mention is Purge, and Purge is actually pretty good. Look at this; it's pretty much all green, except for like I would say the first two, and first two actually means the most popular two in Challenger as well. So that's why, yeah, this is kind of what's limiting Purge. So Fury Aggro could be a bit too fast for Purge, and also Jinx can just get rid of the cards, especially with the reworked what's it called? Fate Maker, right? It's basically just discard a card every single round, the kind of thing. It's just pretty annoying. Yeah. So, well, when I say annoying, it's because I personally am a Purge player, and yeah, sometimes you see your key cards, well, Purge's combo team, right? Your key cards is getting discarded is, yeah, it's pretty tough. But also, of course, Jinx can also remove cards from the draw pile as well, so it makes it harder to get into rage as quickly, and yeah, so that's why it's tough. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it in terms of what I want to cover. Of course, do look into the blog post. There's a lot more information on different things. In particular, I would say it's like different the matchups for different victory star brackets, just because it could be quite different as you go up the victory star, like the ladder basically. It's because like then they will see more optimized teams, kind of thing, right? So the statistics for more optimized teams. Yeah, so yeah, do check out the blog post, and yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.